Good afternoon, Tarleton State University. This is a Texan Entertainment News interview with the Texan News Service, and I am Jack Cochran. Today we're sitting down with a very special guest of ours, Larry Joe Taylor. Larry Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jack.
Glad to hear it. Are you all ready for your performance tonight?
Yes, yeah, looking forward to it. I haven't played on campus in many years.
Well, we'll go ahead and jump right in so that way we don't keep you for too long. You're a very talented musician and songwriter. We all know that, and you've got years of experience. Can you tell me how this experience began for you?
Well, I started playing somewhere around 10, I guess, when I was 10. Had my first band at about 13 or 14. So I played all through high school, and then when I came to Tarleton, I played some, not a lot, and kind of almost gave it up in my mid-20s, and then I don't know, it just I got a guitar, and it just felt right, felt like the right time to do it, and so it's been playing ever since.
So would you say that it just came naturally for you once you picked up the guitar?
I don't feel like I've ever been good at anything else. It's you know, I've had other jobs but always with the guitar, with writing songs, and you know, my career started out writing songs for other people and having them recorded, and that was that's what really comes natural to me is songwriting. That's what I'm a real student of songwriting.
So where do you think your life would be right now if you hadn't picked playing music and writing music?
I'd probably be in a ditch somewhere or under a bridge. I don't know. I try not to think about that. That's, you know, I'm not very good in an office setting. Not so good at anything else. But I'd like to think I'd be successful, but probably not.
Well, you're an extremely talented musician, songwriter, guitarist. If you could pick any other instrument besides the guitar to pick up and just know, which one or ones would you pick and why?
Well, the steel guitar fascinates me because you're playing with both hands, and you got knee levers, and you got foot pedals, and you got all this stuff going on all at the same time. It's one of the prettiest instruments that I've ever seen or listened to, and one of the most difficult. I know guys that have actually played 7 or 8 years before they ever played one time in public, and that takes a lot of dedication to do that. If I could just pick it up and play it, I'd do it.
So let's say you've got the ability to just transcend time here and jump into, you know, any musician from any era of music whatsoever. What musician would you pick to perform with on stage?
Probably Ray Charles. And I love the Frank Sinatra, that whole era, the big band era, and there was just really great musicians playing during that time. There's, you know, all the way to now, there's still great musicians. One that I always wanted to be on the stage with is Stevie Ray Vaughan, but it just never happened. He was a great musician and a Texan.
Well, you've definitely got good taste in music. If out of all the songs you've written, out of all of them, you know, ever, which one would you say is your favorite that you've written and why?
There's probably one called Third Coast. It's kind of a story song about a friend of mine that I met on the Gulf Coast, and he was raised in California and later moved to Florida, and then got in a lot of trouble and finally settled on the Gulf Coast, and that's the reason I called it the Third Coast. And it takes on a different meaning for a lot of people. I wrote it for me, but sometimes when you write them for you, they're so honest that everybody else can relate to them too. And that's probably the most honest song I've written.
Okay. So what advice could you give to aspiring musicians who are watching this right now?
Don't do it. No, not really. Man, it's just you got to do it for yourself. First of all, you can't do it for the fame or for the money. You got to do it for yourself, and you got to love what you're doing. Because there's a lot more mid-level and low-level musicians that are making a living than there are guys. There's probably 10 acts at the very top, and that's not very good. Your odds are probably better being a senator than they are being a #1 recording artist. So you got to love what you're doing. Sometimes the money comes, sometimes it doesn't. But the one thing that I've noticed when I get on stage, I have never once thought about how much money I'm making or not making. So I think that's the one thing you have to do is be honest with yourself. Do I really love doing what I do? And I do.
That's really good advice. Y'all out there listening right now, and make sure you listen in. Now, we were informed by somebody before the interview, I'm going to throw this question in there, that while at Tarleton, you were a purple poo. Is this correct?
That's right. Yeah, I was.
Can you tell us anything about that experience?
No, not really. It was basically the same organization as it is now. I still keep up with a lot of guys and girls through the years, and even some current poo that nobody knows who they are. And, you know, it's cool to be an alumni of poo.
So do you think your time as a purple poo impacted your music and your songwriting?
It certainly didn't show me how to dress on stage. But I don't know, you know, probably did. You know, it was everything I did in college probably affected what I do now in some way.
All right, well, we appreciate you coming in. Thanks for
Thanks.
being here with us,
You bet.
Larry Joe.
Mhm.